Hey friends, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you again today. I just wanted to take a second and welcome you to my channel. If you haven't seen any videos yet, I am Abby. I share luxury, lifestyle, fashion videos, all sorts of good things. I love to connect with you all. So if you enjoy those types of videos, feel free to like and subscribe. I would love to hear from you all. If you push the notification bell, you also get notified whenever I upload new videos. So that's always a fun perk. And it's absolutely free. You just gotta push the little button. Today I wanted just to share with you some tips I have. I have been purchasing my own pre-loved collection. I sell them when I'm finished. I get to try out new things, but I realize that not all of you have tried that out. I know it can be a little daunting and a little scary at times or very unknown, to be honest. And I have a lot of family members that they were interested in doing it and they were interested in selling their pre-loved luxury items or handbags, clothes, shoes, whatever, accessories, and it was a little scary. They weren't quite sure how to do it, how to make sure they were covered, whether it be through the financial side, the shipping side, to make sure that they have everything they need covered. So today I wanted to share with you all my top 8 tips to how to buy and sell your luxury goods when you're all through with them and ready to pass them on to someone else. So let's get started today's video and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so for today's video, like I said, I've got a few tips I just want to cover with you guys on how to buy and sell your luxury goods when you're done with them. So my tip number 1, I've got them right here for you so I don't lose track. Oh, this is a big one. Read the buyer and seller policies. So for starters, I only do PayPal through goods and services, which is considered like an invoice. It's the same coverage for goods and services and an invoice. It's just usually if you're on an app and requesting it, it's a request. But if you do that instead of family and friends, then you're covered with the buyer and seller protection. However, disclaimer too, okay? I'm not a professional. I don't work at PayPal. I don't own a business doing this stuff, but I just know, have done it on a personal level. You do get covered as a seller if they were to not receive the item. As long as you insure it, you get covered if the item's delivered. So they'll cover you. Like I said, read the terms and conditions for yourself, but there is a buyer and seller policy to where most things are covered. So as long as you're selling an item and not paying through family and friends if you're purchasing, never ever pay through family and friends if you're purchasing unless you know that person. And like if it's a local pickup, then you can pay family and friends, because paying and family and friends is essentially just handing them cash. So you don't hand somebody cash unless you have the item handed over to you. So read over the user policy. That's my number 1 tip. First and foremost, so you know what you're getting yourself into, you know how you're covered, you know how you're not covered, and best ways to do it. So number 1, read over the user policies. Number 2, this tip is awesome, and this is one of the reasons I love building a community with you guys, is because when you build a community and know like-minded people, you can connect really well, get to know some great people, and share in the same interests. And my tip number 2 is join a Facebook group. So on Facebook, there's lots of groups promoting luxury items, especially like my favorite, you know, is Louisvuitton. And over the years, I've met some wonderful, wonderful people that I thoroughly just love to be in community with and talk to them. And it brings me joy to know that they enjoy the same things and we can connect that way, similar interests, and you make lots of really good friends and connections. So number 2 tip would be join a good Facebook group. Not all of them are based on numbers. Some of them have, you know, over 100,000 people in the group. Some are smaller groups like 4,000, but there are still some really good groups. I'm in both ranges and I really enjoy a lot of the people in them, so I would encourage you to check those out. Some of them have like an in search of post. So that's a post where if you're a seller, if your item's posted in the group and you're a seller, then you can kind of see what others are looking for. But if you're looking for something, that might be something to check out as well. Some groups do it differently, so you just have to read the group rules or connect with an admin if you need to, and they can help you out. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 really goes along with tip number 2, and that is to ask for buyer or seller references. Now this tip goes with it because you can do this in the Facebook groups as well. So essentially you would just say, hey, has anybody worked with this person before? They're looking to either buy or sell for me, and I'm just wanting to get a reference check on them and kind of get to know if they're a good person to work with. And sometimes in rare cases you might have people say, oh yeah, there was something bad there, and they can elaborate on that as they see fit. But generally, they'll let you know if they've seen them in the group, if they've sold things to them, bought things to them, etc., etc., etc. Tip number 4. So tip number 4, this actually, if you don't want to do it on your own, and you don't mind paying a little extra in fees, you could do your research, and there's some sites for authentic items that are trusted for buying and selling, which are the top ones I found for buying and selling authentic items would be Tradesy and Fashion File. Like I said, Tradesy and Fashion File are really, really good sites. They're trusted. Fashion File does buy your bags from you. They usually are willing to pay a little bit less, in my experience with them, than what you'd make on your own. However, you would get paid directly through them and not have to worry about a buyer. The other part is Tradesy. You list your bag on there. They take out a higher fee, but they do give you the selling platform. So, I mean, there's trade-offs, depending on which one you go to and what you're willing to do, slash, what you're looking for. So whichever one is like more your style, then you can do with that. Tip number 5. Okay guys, this is like some girl talk, okay? If it is too good to be true, it seems sketchy, or something seems off. Like if you're talking to the buyer and they seem like a little not right, or you are looking to buy something and the seller seems a little not right, oh, they just happen to be out of town, or I don't know, that does happen. I'm not saying that's not true. It can be. But if there's a situation where you're looking to either buy or sell your item, and you just feel a little uncomfortable with it, chances are something's off. So I would personally suggest that you think about it, maybe reach out to somebody else, but if it's too good to be true or it feels uncomfortable, I would just say take a step back. That's my honest advice to you guys, to make sure you don't get caught in any kind of scam, especially if you're selling your bag outright and not doing Tradesy or Fashion File. That would just be my advice to you. So tip number 6. If you guys are shipping these bags are your luxury items or your goods, like your jewelry or wallets or clothes or whatever it is, package it with care. With care. Bubble wrap, tissue paper. Make your buyer feel special. Make them feel important. Make it a present like it was to you, to them. So if you put some bubble wrap in, make sure you use tissue paper. For myself, we're in a part of the country where we do see a lot of rain in certain seasons, and so what I like to do is I like to make sure I have a plastic bag or some kind of water barrier in there, and then wrapping it on top of that and making it really a gift for them. So that's my tip number 6. Tip number 7. If you're selling the bag on your own, always, always, always send to the address that's listed on their PayPal account. The only way I would buy or sell a bag is to recommend through PayPal invoice or service and goods, just like I mentioned in the first tip. If you're using PayPal service and goods and you're selling an item, that's the best coverage there is out there. I would use PayPal invoice for service and goods. Now, when you do that, there's an address listed for your buyer on there. Listed on there. After it says sold, it says ship to, and it'll show you the address. Only ship to that address, because if you ship to another address, if they're like, hey, I probably won't be home, can you send it to this address? I always like to tell my buyers, because there's chances that is true. So I always like to tell them, hey, that's totally fine, but you just have to add it to your PayPal first. If you add it, go ahead and add it into your PayPal account, then it'll give me the option to send it there. Otherwise, I have to ship it to the address posted in the account. Most likely, they'll be willing to do that. It's no big problem. They can go change it. In some cases, they don't want to change it, and they say, oh, it's just fine, just forget about it. And then sometimes, in certain cases, you can kind of feel out again. If it feels sketchy, it is most likely sketchy. Kind of thing. So make sure you always add your tracking number after you ship to the address posted in the PayPal account. All right, guys, and so tip number 8 is to connect with people, guys, to do some market research, to find out the price of the bag, to really dig into either the Facebook groups, ask some questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, there's some people, there's admins in the group to help you, there's established buyers and sellers and people that have been in there for years and years. I myself have been in the groups for almost a decade now, and I really enjoy the connection, I enjoy the help, and I think that'll be a really good help for you guys. So I would encourage you to check those groups out. One of my favorite, I believe, is Louis Vuitton Addicted on Facebook, and Louis Vuitton something on there. I'll go ahead and I'll link the Facebook group down below for you guys to connect with. The admins are awesome. They make sure that the people trying to sell items that are not authentic aren't in the group. They clean out anybody that's trying to maybe mislead people. They really try to keep the group running and functioning really, really well, and they've done such a great job. And just a quick shout out to them. Thank you for your time and for helping others. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Is there any items that maybe you're ready to pass on or looking to purchase maybe? The preloved market is really, really a great option because you do get items that are no longer available. You know, a lot of people like to find their birth year or their wedding anniversary or their child's birthday. There's so many options, and it's such a good opportunity to be able to connect, like I said, with like-minded people as well. I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any video ideas, feel free to share those below as well. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time. Remember, hashtag for the love of all handbags. For the love of all handbags. See you later, guys.